That's all I wanted to do tonight was hit on the bartender. And all the stuff just went way down, and they started fighting me because it was my fault. Like, not the girl, but like little things were setting them all off, and they were all just going at each other. Like, one of them, dude, like, I witnessed him fucking assaulting his girlfriend, like, in the parking lot. Like, we had to get the cops involved. Like, of all people to call the cops, we had to call the fucking cops. Like,
the last resort.
Oh my God, dude, that's a bad story. That's John. Like, that is all right. The thing is, I'm sitting here trying to figure out which stories to like tell. I've been debating this one. I will tell this story. This is a really bad story. So we're at a bar. It's just me, John, and his girlfriend. That's it. John's a bit of a loose cannon by this point. John has a drinking problem. When he drinks, harder shit. We're at this bar. Everything's fine. Him and her are kind of fighting. They were always fucking fighting. Not like what happened later, though. It gets to a point where he's that like happy kind of drunk, like da-da-da, but there's always this underlying tension. Yeah. Like, he'll take you in his arm and like be like, oh man, you're my fucking brother. You know that? But like, it's like the arm's like tightening. Like there's something right below the surface.
He's killing you.
Like he halfway wants to break your neck.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to describe it. So I will never forget this night for my entire life, and this is one of the reasons. Like, this guy is just, I don't know what you do with this kind of person, because he's still the same way, to the best of my knowledge. So he finally gets kicked out of the bar because all he's doing is drinking. I was at the bar to talk to the bartender because me and her had like kind of a thing going, right? So I was just there stopping by saying hello to her. Him and her happen to be there. Fine. Him and her go out to the parking lot. I'm inside the bar talking with the bartender. While I'm talking with the bartender...
All right. I love that.
So while I'm talking with the bartender, my phone starts going off. And I'm looking at my phone, and I'm like, why the fuck is she calling me? Like, they just left. Yeah. And so I ignore it. And my phone starts calling again and again. And I finally said, okay, hold on 1 second. I pick up the phone. She is screaming for help into the phone for me. Like, she's screaming, you have to get outside. He's breaking into my car. He's da-da-da-da. He's going to kill me. And I'm like, what? Like, I look outside the window. He is bashing the bottle of, like, his alcohol against her car, breaks the fucking... Like, he had broken the handle off the car, so he couldn't use the handle anymore to get in the car because it was locked. And he bashes his way into the car, and he hums the bottle with the alcohol in it, like the whole bit, like into her in the car. And I'm like looking out the window, like, holy shit! Like, so
this isn't happening. This isn't happening.
It gets so much worse than this. Jeez. This is what I'm trying to explain, like, why I get torn about the scene. Because, like, on one hand, it's really fucking cool. On the other hand, there is a very dark side to what goes on with all this stuff. I go running outside. I literally look at this bartender. We'll call her Janelle. Change all the fucking names.
Janelle's nice.
And I'm like, sweetie, I gotta go. I'll be right back. I go running outside, and I'm like, John, what the fuck is wrong with you? And he turned like a man possessed. Like, he backed out of the car and he looked at me, and dude, he didn't even sound like him. Yeah. I'm gonna feel so weird doing this, like, but he literally looked at me. He's like, you stay there. And I was like, John, what's going on? And like, he was talking in this weird raspy voice, and like, I'm telling you, like, to this day, I seriously wonder if like something got into him when he drinks, if something gets into him. Like, she's screaming for help on the passenger side of the car, like backed way into the car, terrified to get out of the car. He was halfway in the car now, in there, when he had chucked the bottle at her. He's grabbing at her, trying to reach her out of the car. I'm standing near the back of the car now. And like he's bleeding a little bit from like bashing through like to get in.
I mean,
yeah,
tends to happen.
Right.
When
so
glasses in your hand.
Right. So yeah, typically. So they're like, we're at this weird standoff because like here's the thing. God, this podcast makes me look like such a bitch. John is a monster. John fucking kill me. Like, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, you had to call me for help. There's a perfectly good bouncer right there. So I'm standing there. I'm like, I don't know what to do because I would not be able to stop him. Like I would have to physically try to kill him, as in I would not be able to restrain him. That's what I'm saying. Like what I'm saying is like would there's certain people like that if you go up against, you can restrain them and it's going to be good. There's other people you're going to have to put down if you're going to win this fight.
Yeah.
He would be one of those. And I'm thinking, I'm like, this is my boy. Like him and I were the closest out of the whole crew. And I have no clue what's going on. All I know is you are like going after your girl insanely. So anyways, he's talking all this crazy stuff or whatever. And I forgot how it worked, but he reaches into the car and he rips the keys out of the ignition. And no, he had taken her keys, so she couldn't leave. So there's no keys. She's out of the car now, on the other side of the car, like telling me like, I need to stop him. I need to whatever. I need to call the cops. Right. I'm standing like 6 feet away from this guy who looks like he's possessed as fuck. And oh God, it's so, oh God, his eyes were so crazy. And he said something to me like, I see what side you're on or something. He said something weird. And then he runs into the woods. So there was a drop off at the front of the car. There was a drop off down to the river. And then there were woods over here. He runs past her and off into the woods. She comes running over to me and like, it's not like I'm holding her, but she's like, we have to call the cops right now. Like he's going to do something crazy. And I'm like, okay, like we need to get you out of here. And she's like, I can't. He threw the keys. I'm like, he threw the keys. And she's like, yeah, he threw the keys. And I'm like, okay, where are the keys? Like, she's like, he threw them somewhere down the ravine. Get the keys. So I get her back in the bar just so that there's some protection or witnesses. Right. So I get her back in the bar. It's like 12 o'clock at night. So there's not really much people at the bar. The bartender that I'm freaking trying to like talk with comes outside with me and I tell her what's going on. So she comes outside with the bouncer. We start looking for the keys. He walks out of the forest. And so let me back up. He's been gone for 20 minutes. Jeez. We're all looking for these keys. This bartender must have dealt with major shit in her life because she was so calm towards this guy. It was insanity. Yeah. He comes out. His face is all bloody. His knuckles are bleeding, and he has, I will call them lacerations on his arm. Deep, deep cuts. Jeez. I'm talking long, deep, bleeding, you have to get to a hospital, cuts on your arm. Come to find out later, to ruin a part of the story, he was bashing his face into trees in the woods.
That's something a normal person would do, right?
Uh-huh. He was bashing his face, which was why his face was all mangled, and basically punching mailboxes. Just going down the street, and there was a line of mangled mailboxes when we left, like eventually when we left. I don't know where the lacerations came from. Maybe he took a knife and just, like, I'm talking deep lacerations, like something sharp you were digging into the muscle. So he walks out of the forest like this. And I'm like, yeah, that's my boy. Like, and I'm sitting there like, I need a gun. Like, I'm like, and at the time, like, I didn't carry. And I'm sitting there and he stalks out of the fucking woods. And the bartender, calm as a cucumber. She's like, hey, just curious, where's the keys for your girlfriend's car? We just want to make sure that she makes it home okay. And this kid like has trashed the house and he's walking out through the doorway and he's got 2 Molotovs in his hands and he's got blood all over him. That's exactly what this guy John looked like. And he's walking out of the forest and she's calm as a cucumber. We need to find the keys, get your girlfriend home. He's like, oh, I don't know where they are. And she's like, okay, can you help us look for him? I'm like, yeah, I want him close to me right now.
It's a good. This is the person that I want.
Dude, she is like 5'4", 105 pounds. This guy is a fucking monster, bleeding profusely, drunk out of his mind, possessed, and she's now looking for the keys side by side with him. And I'm sitting there, I'm like,
what?
This is real life?
How does that work?
How does this is not real. So we're now all three of us looking for the keys outside. Come to find out, he never threw the keys. They're in his pocket. And I forgot how it ends up happening. He ends up on the front stoop talking with the bartender. She uses psychology to get into his head, to get the keys out of his hand, to... Oh, God, no, I'm skipping a whole part. So he comes back. While we're looking for the keys, he stole the car. So we're looking for the keys down the ravine. He gets in the car and takes off with the car. Okay. Now he is gone.
Okay.
I'm sorry. It's been a long time. This story is... He takes off with the car. So then we all end up back at the bar. His girlfriend's crying. I'm trying to calm her down, but I've had it with this bullshit. Because I've already been dealing with this fucking cruise bullshit for long enough. And now this, I'm like, this is insane. It's now 1:15 in the morning. This has been going on for an hour. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing dating this? She's like, he always gets like this when he drinks. I'm like, what? He always gets... She's like, you don't know who he really is. Like, I'm like, then why are you with him? Like, if he's this bad, why are you with this guy? Whatever. Here's the thing. He then, now I'm back in the bar. He slams open the door. He comes into the bar. There's nobody in the bar anymore. It is just me, the bartender, the bouncer, his girlfriend. That's it. He opens the door, and dude, I'm telling you, it was like a horror movie the way the door opened. Now remember, we had already talked to him. He's got the keys. He's got whatever. They'd thrown over here, but then he started the car. He drove away. Okay.
Walks into the bar.
He walks.
It's like...
Yeah, a guy walks into the bar. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, he like punched the door or something, and it just
slowly opened and creaked.
And in the silhouette of the street lamp, he like walks in and just stands there looking at us. And I'm like, someone's going to die. Yeah. And it's probably going to be me. Yeah. Like, just like, and like literally I was sitting at the bar and I got fed up and I hit the bar and I turned around and I got up and I got like, didn't get in his face, but I stood between him and his girlfriend because I actually thought he was going to kill her. I really, really did. Like, he had frightened the fuck out of me and everybody else that night. And he walked right up to me and he walked right up to me and he like literally, it was, I'm telling you, the voice didn't even sound human. It was the weirdest thing, and it frightened me is the word for it. And he looked at me and he said something. He was like, get out of my way. Like, it was this weird, raspy, it didn't sound like a human. And that is why, I don't know, it really seemed possessed. And I looked at him and like, he was like snarling, like his lip was like, I'm like, dude, like, what the fuck am I looking at? Like, this was my like boy, right? Supposedly. I had only known him for a few months, but like we had like connected right off the bat. We were always riding. It was always me and him, and then the rest of the crew would join up. We'd have like fucking sleepovers. He'd get drunk and like pass out on the couch. I'd be whatever. Right. Like, I was like, this is my boy. Like, what? I was like, dude, what is wrong with you? And like, dude, I was shaking. Have you ever like really been in a fight?
No.
Okay. So I'm going to explain to you.
But no.
When you seriously get to that edge of a fight, like where it's like that one little tick more and the fight is on, when you get there, your whole body is vibrating with adrenaline. And you are like, you can't even look at somebody straight because you're I'm telling you, that's how it goes. And then it's any hair more and it's on and you're fighting for your life. I'm talking fighting for your life. I've only been in that situation 2 times in my life, but I'll tell you, that's what happens when you know that this is going to be a fight for your life, and that's the end of it. This is one of the times where it didn't actually get there. He's standing in front of me, and I remember I think I said something to him, like, I was like, listen, man, like, you have to go. And, like, I had my hands up like this because I was just like, I wanted it to kind of be like halfway, like hands up, halfway, like I hope I can grab your arm as you swing.
Yeah.
And I noticed, like, I was locked eyes with him, but I noticed, like, peripherally, like, he got his fist ready. And I forgot what else he said. He said some other, like, threatening thing. And that's when I noticed his eyes were black. And this is, I will never forget what he looked. I'm looking at it right now. I will never forget what that guy looked like that night. So when you blow coke, right, your pupils get small, right? Total opposite. His pupils covered his eyes.
That's crazy.
Like, not the white, though I didn't see white, but I'm telling you, it was just like, his eyes were dilated to that, like, extent. He looked possessed. His eyes were black. He had his fist ready to go. He had all this stuff, and I literally, he said something like, she's coming with me. I was like, she's not. And I'm like, I'm going to die. Like,
yeah.
Like, dude, I was scared. I was fucking scared. And the bouncer came up next to me with a pull stick. I mean, this all transpired in a few seconds, but, like, this was a long time standing there being like. Yeah. So the bouncer came up to me with a pull stick and was like, listen, buddy, you're not taking another step. You're going to leave or we're putting you in the hospital right now. And, like, I was like, that's cool because he's a bouncer. And I can
He's going to put you in the hospital. I'm just going to stand here and be really protective and make sure everything doesn't go down. I'm
just going to stand there like this while you take care of what you have to do.
I'm going to do my best. I'm just going to try. I'm going to try really hard. He's probably going to put you in the hospital. I'm going to
be supporting evidence that that's what happened. So he actually backed down, but he never looked at the bouncer. He was only looking right at my eyes. Yeah. And when he did back down, he looked at me and he said something like, he's like, I can see you. And I'm thinking, like, is that fucking demon talking to me? Like, what the fuck am I looking at? Like, this is, dude, you can laugh all you want. I was fucking terrified. Like, this was weird. This guy's standing in front of you. His face is bashed up. Blood's coming down. Lacerations on his arm. His knuckles are blown apart. His eyes are black. And he's threatening your life standing in front of you. He's way bigger than you.
Yeah.
Come on.
Because him saying, I can see you is not like, I can see you. It's, I can see you.
Yeah.
Right.
He was like, I can see you. Yeah. And I know who you are. I know who you are now. Don't ever forget, I know where you live. And, like, he, like, turned around.
What?
And he kind of, like, did that back walk, like, hit the door with his back and, like, went outside. And oh God, what happened from here? He goes outside. The bartender jumps the bar, literally goes over, locks the door, turns around, and she's like, I'm fucking done with this shit tonight. Da, 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 da. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, now you're losing your cool. Yeah. And, like,
I literally just peed my pants. So can we go?
No, I mean, I stood my ground, but, like, I knew damn well, like, if that hair trigger went off, like, you're fighting with your life because this person isn't thinking right. Like, they're gonna try to kill you. She calls the cops. Jeez. She gets on the phone with the cops. And at some point, I forgot how it played out, but, like, we went looking for the car and we found it bashed into a wall behind a bush with the key still in it. So we ended up driving the car back to the place, and she's on the phone with the cops, and, like, the car is now in the parking lot. I'm sorry I can't get the chronological order of all these events, but the very last time I saw John that night was I was just pacing the bar, and I'm thinking in my head, like, I can't go home.
Yeah.
Like this is really bad. Like, I can't go home tonight. I look out the window. He's right on the other side of the window. Like, I was standing next to the window. I look out the window. He's right there.
Wait, where is this? Is this in your home?
This is at the bar. We're still at the bar. I look out the window. He's knelt down with a I forgot what he's got, but he's fucking wrecking her tires on the car.
Who's the bartenders or the
girlfriend? So she can't leave. Like psycho. Oh, yeah. When he backed his way through the door, The car was in the parking lot. He goes around. Like, dude, this is like a true story.
Back through the door.
He goes back through the door, and we had thought he left. Locked the door. She gets on the phone with the cops, and then I'm like pacing around, like I'm like, Jesus Christ. And I look outside, and he's kicking and breaking her tire stems. That's what he was doing of the car, flattening all the tires,
Right.
so that she can't leave. Like, he was all about this like crazy level of control over her. So, anyways, I'm just standing there, and he like turns and he sees me, and he like points at me, and he's like you're next, like, or something like that. It was just this outlandish night, man. And so he ends up running into the woods because like the sirens are coming. Like, he runs off again down the street, and the cops come in. She wouldn't say a word.
What?
The girlfriend would not say a word. Nothing. I
mean, that's typically what happens, though, right? Because when you're controlling someone, or when something like that happens, you're afraid of losing your life now.
She was
and
literally.
What happens afterwards?
The cops are sitting there. All of us are witnesses, and she's sitting there with it. We're all together, and the cops are questioning. Like, I finally feel like, okay, at least we got enough cops, because like I knew he had guns. I'm like, so if he comes back, like he's got to get through like this many people. and by that time, I am a good runner, and you're drunk. So, so we're sitting there, and she would not say a word against him. She was like, you know me, like the cop even knew her, because the cops have been called so many times about this relationship. She's like, you know me, I'm not going to say a thing. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, how can you guys not arrest him? We all witnessed this. All of us are saying for some weird loophole thing. I don't know what it was, or if there was some get out of jail free. I don't know what it was, but they did a manhunt for him, but he never got arrested for this night. Never. So the way this night ends, I said to her, literally, I said, I'm bringing you home, and I'm dropping you off, and you and me are done. Don't you ever call me. Don't you ever whatever. I'm dropping you off. Da-da-da-da. While driving her home, she starts getting a call from her parents' phone. So the parents' house.
Okay.
It's him. He broke into her parents' house and is threatening to kill her parents. This is, dude, I'm telling you. He literally said, you come here right now, or I'm killing them in their sleep. This was the fun. This is a real person.
A gasp.
This is a real person. This is a real night of my life. This is why I only dabble.
Hey, this dude is fucking nuts.
At this point.
We're gonna find out where he is at the end of the story.
Yeah. Okay. He just got out of jail. I mean, like, he's out now. So anyways.
Happy I'm here.
Yeah,
with
talking about it.
Yeah.
What's your full name?
So the thing is that like she gets a call, it's him, and I can overhear it. And again, that same fucked up, weird, deep, raspy, fucked up voice. And he literally tells her, you're coming here now, or I'm killing him. He's like, they're asleep right now. I got in through the window, and I'm calling you from their house phone, so you know I'm serious. And I'm just driving. It's like 3 in the fucking morning.
All I want to do is go home.
All I wanted to do was hit on the bartender. That's all I wanted to do tonight was hit on the bartender. And I'm sitting there in the car, and she's sitting there, and I literally told her, I was like, hang up the phone. You need to hang up this phone now. And like I took the phone, I think, and I shut it off. I was like, if you don't call the cops, you can get out of my car right now, and we're done. Good luck to you tonight. Because if you're not going to call the cops at this level, when this guy has broken into your house and he's going to kill your parents. And I told her straight out, I said, if you don't call the cops right now, you're getting out of my car. And I didn't carry through that threat. I made her hit a friend of hers up, and I dropped her off at the friend's house. And I was like, if you don't call the fucking cops, you are one of the dumbest of the dumb I've ever met in my entire life, and you're probably going to end up dead. I dropped her off at that house. I drove home. Dude, I did not sleep. I was just awake all night. I hit up everybody in the fucking crew. Everybody. And I told them everything that had happened. Not a single one of them wanted to kick him out of the crew. They were like, well, we weren't there. We don't know how bad it really was. And like, da-da-da. And I was sitting there. I'm like, is this shit normal? Like, this shit is not normal. And that was one of, like, the craziest nights of my life. And he blew up my phone for, like, days. And then the next party I went to, which was at Tony, we'll call him Tony, right? Was at Tony's house. He was there. And he was just trying to be friendly and, like, talk with me. He's like, dude, like, we have, like history. Like, we're, like, really... I'm like, you're not an ex-girlfriend. You're a psychopath. Like, I literally, like, I was like, dude, like, do you not realize, like, what level you went to? I'm like, you should be in prison. Like, telling him right to his face because he wasn't drunk, right?
Right.
You were no longer possessed. And, I'll never forget his eyes that night and stuff. But that is one of the wildest nights of my life. And that is a true story. Jeez. Yeah.
Crazy.
Jeez.
That was a really bad night. And it blew my mind that the crew wouldn't kick him out. I was like, what, like, level of acceptability is this? Like,
You are who you surround yourself with.
yeah, that's me.
Don't put me on your level. I am not like you. I'm not gonna cut a buddy back.